wooded area on the other side of the field, which was surrounded by woods and other farmland and was not visible from the road. The property owner, Roy Smith, name withheld by request, was stunned at the implications. Beyond the obvious question of how something could just drop out of the air into a field, he had to wonder why, since the tracks were obviously too small to be human. Was the drop-in walking only on its hind legs? When he shared those concerns with me, I was equally mystified. Other than the extremely unlikely scenarios of a tiny skydiver wearing paw-shaped boots, or a person let down from a helicopter while wearing fake paw-print-equipped stilts, I had no idea as to how the track maker could apparently just pop out of nowhere. One word did enter my head, a word I still don't often use alongside reports of unexplainable animals. I hate to say it, I told Smith, a 70-year-old retired math teacher from Illinois, and it's not something I'd normally mention on an investigation, but have you ever heard of portals? As in interdimensional portals that might possibly transport beings from some other place or some other type of world? Expecting either a polite eye roll, a snicker, or a firm rejection, I quickly added that I wasn't saying that his land definitely contained an on-off ramp to an interdimensional highway. I was merely suggesting that we might want to explore some alternative scenarios, since we'd exhausted all the plausible explanations we could think of. Smith wasn't as horrified at the thought as I'd expected he'd be. After everything we'd seen, or sometimes not seen, over the past months on this land, which he'd intended to be a quiet hobby farm, his mind had also started reaching toward twilight areas beyond the norms of the physical world. But as weird as it felt to entertain the notion that something unknown might be creating the oddball tracks, light anomalies, and deer carcass mutilations that would occur time and again in this lonely field, I remembered that other researchers whose work I respect have also found themselves backed into a similar corner of the absurd. Sometimes there's nothing left to do but keep backing right on through that corner. Moreover, we had some very good reasons to start grasping at this particular straw. Smith's trail cams had that very morning captured a series of daytime photographs of something that looked much like a portal described in another very famous situation of strangeness. This fact made it very difficult not to at least consider the idea. I've previously written about portals, a popular term for unexplained gateways connecting our world, dimension, or time with others, as one of many interesting, if improbable, theories sometimes used to explain the comings and goings of unknown creatures. Leaping into theoretical wormholes, rabbit holes, or any other kind of unidentifiable openings is always risky business, however, and I don't mean that in just a literal falling to your brutal death kind of sense. The concept of gateways to other worlds, especially in connection with Sasquatch or UFOs, is wildly controversial here in the mundane human world. Skeptical backlash aimed at those who suggest it is often quick, severe, and as painful as I imagine an encounter with any unearthly beast might be. And it's often well justified. People do need to rule out other possibilities and show some sort of reason as to why the P word has been invoked. We will return to this topic throughout the book to do just that. In the end, the argument over whether unknown creatures may travel via unknown transport or must always use physical means of getting around is as hotly contested as is the question of whether the creatures themselves must be completely physical, non-physical, or something in between. The complex and ongoing debate between two main camps has raged for years. To simplify it greatly, one view sees dogmen, Bigfoots, and giant birds as undiscovered species of otherwise normal earthly animals,